player according to NBA rankings, and the superstar dominating the news lately, former MVP James Harden. It's no secret he wants out of H-Town, but practiced with the team yesterday and is expected to play in preseason action tonight. Stephen A., what should the Rockets do with James Harden?
Well, they should unload him. He wants out. Let him go. I don't like the fact that, you know what, an African-American coach that waited 20 years for this opportunity finally gets it, and the star, one of the prolific scorers this game has ever seen, doesn't want to be there. So when I hear my man Kendrick Perkins speaking on the jump like he did the other day, or I hear my brother Steven Jackson from All the Smokes podcast with Matt Barnes speaking about James Harden, they ain't wrong. They weren't wrong with what they're saying. But in the end, because you want out, the bottom line is it's not a good situation for Stephen Silas to be coaching in because your star doesn't want to be a part of the mix. So as a result of that, you unload him. Now, you don't unload him for nothing. You make sure that you get equitable compensation or as close to it as you can possibly get. But you make it very, very clear to James Harden, we're not telling you no. We're not saying stay because we got you locked under contract for the next 2 years, because that's not going to fly, because that's a poisonous situation for the team to be in, the rest of the team around them. But what you do tell them is, we will exhaust every means and every measure to get you up out of here and where you want to go, but we will not let you go for cheap compensation. You're one of the elite players in this game, and we're going to make sure we get the farm for you if we let you go. You can at least tell them that and then work to move them out.
Well, you got to deal him sooner than later is the problem, because the issue really is, as he's continually disgruntled and increasingly unhappy, he becomes more of a distressed asset and his trade value decreases. Stephen A., what you're talking about is people ain't coming with their best and final offer now because it ain't the trade deadline yet, right? And so people talk about, like, you can buy a car like this. You can call up all the different dealers in the area and say, look, I'm giving everyone one chance to make their best offer. And they'll tell you, well, when you're shopping around, come back. Say, no. One chance, what's your best price? That'll actually get you the best price immediately. That's how you're supposed to buy a car. That's how you're supposed to sell James Harden. If the Rockets are serious, then they won't wait until the trade deadline to see, oh, now people are getting serious. Now they'll give us their best and final offer, because that offer will be less than it is today, because they have to move him. This is it's an untenable situation. Rockets need to get on the phone right now and let people know we are moving Harden. Best and final. We're not negotiating. What you got? Take the best offer and be done with it.
Well, Max, you're wrong, because they don't have to move James Harden. They don't have to. He's under contract for the next 2 years, so they don't have to do a damn thing. Now, what they need to do is they need to move him, but they don't have to do anything. They could keep James Harden, and the brothers just going to have to show up to work and perform at a high level and give that MVP-type performance on the court until he finds his next destination. But right now, what you're looking at is Houston has lost leverage. James Harden has lost leverage. And if I'm the Rockets, I'm going to hold on to James Harden right now, and I'm going to weigh it out. I'm going to see if he comes in. He's supposed to play on Thursday, and I'm going to see how it's going to happen, how it's going to work in the next 25 to 30 games. I'm not going to rush anything right now because, like you said, teams are not going to give you what you want for James Harden right now. So with that being said, you got to keep him and try to make this thing work some type of way and don't force the issue. If I am in the front office and I am the general manager of the Houston Rockets, I probably want to reach out to David Griffin and pay a consultant fee and find out how did he handle the Anthony Davis situation so superb, and find out and get advice from him on how to handle this this James Harden situation.
Kendrick Perkins, here's the slight disagreement that you and I have. You say James Harden, you and I agree they don't have to trade him because he is under contract for the next 2 years. But you said he has to go out there and perform at a high level. That last part is not necessarily true. Now, it might be unwise, but he doesn't have to do that part. If James Harden shows up to work but appears disinterested, appears a bit apathetic towards or indifferent towards things, isn't going all out, etc., What they going to do? They're going to dock him because he averages 15 instead of 30? They're going to dock him pay because he's not looking like the, he might take a publicity hit. You know, it doesn't look good to basketball lovers when we know what he can do on the court if he's not doing it. But he doesn't have to perform at a premium level, which is the danger of keeping a disgruntled star where he does not want to stay.
But not only that, if he does that and his trade value goes down, which is, go ahead, Perk.
He have to perform, and the reason why I say he have to perform at that MVP type level is because if he want out, he still have to let the team know. Because here's the problem right now: if you're a team that's looking to even try to trade for James Harden, one thing you're worried that he's not going to be committed to the franchise long term. So you want to see. So right now, the way James Harden handled the situation for us with him wanting to be traded, not reporting to camp on time, he has to clean those areas up. And in order for him to clean those areas up, not only do he have to show up to work, but he needs to show up to work and perform at a high level, especially if he's trying to get traded and want somebody to want him. It is true. It is true.
It is true. Not true. Perk, here's the issue. When a star like this wants out, actually it's in their best interest to not have too much trade value, because then wherever they get dealt to is not as good as they would have been because they have to give up more to get them. That actually works for Harden. If he kind of underperforms or gets elective surgery or, you know, like does one of those things that stars sometimes do, and there's consequently not a huge trade package for him at the destination he arrives, he will ball out. He'll have full value and everything, and the team will be even better because they didn't have to sell the farm to get him. The point is, the Rockets are in a bad position here, guys, because whatever the letter of the law is with the contracts, superstars have the clout in the NBA. They call the shots, and Harden's a superstar.
But Max, first of all, the Rockets don't have to trade James Harden where he want to be traded. Like, that's the thing that we failing to realize. So right now, the Houston Rockets could if they wanted to, they could be really messed up towards James Harden and trade him somewhere he don't want to be traded. So if you James Harden, why not go out there and perform at that MVP type level, be an ultimate professional, and get what you want? What you mean it's ridiculous?
Do the Houston Rockets stay right there?
Do the Houston Rockets have to
trade him? Stay right there, Perk. What's the logic here? What's the logic here? What's the logic here? That you're going to trade him a place he doesn't want to go. The only way that works is if that place has a chance to win a championship, like what happened with Kawhi. He won a championship. That's a pretty good outcome for you. But the point is, all the agent has to do is pick up the phone and tell whoever's about to make a big trade for Harden, he ain't going to re-sign here. And then guess what happens to that trade offer? It goes away.
No, it don't. No, it don't. That's not true, because guess what? If you're the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, you might put Kevin Love and some pieces together and trade for James Harden, although you might get him for 2 years. So that's not true, Max. You might take that chance.
You think they're going to take Kevin Love and some pieces for James Harden?
He's not being literal, Max. He's painting a picture that it can happen. You do have teams out there that'll look at James Harden, and some of them might be like, we don't give a damn that he's got 2 years on his contract because we only use him for 1, and then the final year of his deal, we'll use him as a tradable asset to move again and clear that money off our space.
That's right.
Kendrick's right in terms of what Houston could do. All I'm saying is, Kendrick, in the same breath, is that James Harden, him playing badly, they already know what he can do, and they already know he's disgruntled. So if you are a championship contender and your goal is the chip and you think he's the answer, you're not paying attention to the fact that he's not on his A game, because it's clear why he's not on his A game, because he's disgruntled and he wants out. You're not going to hold that against him if you're in that situation.
Also, there are very few teams, if any. I suppose what you're saying, Stephen A, is possible. But how many teams are going to bring an overwhelming offer for Harden to rent them for a year or two? Look, everyone was looking for AD. Where did he wind up? In L.A., because everyone knew he's not re-signing long-term if he's not in L.A., right? Like, that was out there.
But he was approaching free agency this summer.
Max, Max, that's two different situations. Anthony Davis was on the back end of his deal with a player option. James Harden has 2 years guaranteed. 2 years guaranteed.
Exactly.
That's a whole different situation.
It changes things
Max.
a little bit. Yep.
No,
it changes things a little bit.
That's a
not
huge
as much
difference,
as you guys
Max.
are letting on.
That's a huge difference,
In order to get
Max.
Harden, you're either going to have to trade. I get it. In order to trade Harden, you're either going to have to trade an all-star caliber player with pieces around him, right? Something that's attractive to the Rockets long term, or you're going to have to give up draft picks, and lots of them that are likely to be very high. You're not going to give up all those draft picks for a 1 or a 2 year rental. You might give up an all-star. You mentioned Kevin Love with a lot of other stuff for Harden. I suppose that's a possibility. It's not a very good one.